Welcome back to my BRIO adventure. Today we're excited to explore with you the BRIO 36010 mounting cargo set. This set has so many cool features, from the stackable mountings to the new style cranes to this tower elevator and all the included vehicles and cargo. Plus there's a unique track element for this set. But before we jump into that, here is an unboxing of the BRIO 36010 cargo mounting set. So then, let's take a closer look at what's included in this set. Firstly, you will need a space of 1.1 by 1 meter to build this set as we have it laid out here, which is bigger than the standard BRIO play table, so that's something to keep in mind if that's the space you have to work with. Now the set is built around this central tower crane here. The base has this grey rock effect with a slight gold fleck in it. There's a spot to park the green truck around the back here, and a connection for the train on the track at the bottom here. The lift is operated by turning this red handle on the side, where the track is then elevated up into the sky. Now this elevator section is big enough to fit the included green train or one of the 2-pin wagons. However, larger trains and vehicle carriages won't fit. In this layout, you need to wind this handle all the way to the top, where it meets this piece of track here, and the gold cargo wagon can start its journey. You'll see a ladder running up the side of the tower. This is for one of the 2 included figures to climb up and stand here to operate either the crane or the cargo chute. This chute allows you to take cargo blocks and drop them in here, where they shoot all the way down to the bottom, ready to be loaded into the truck and sent on their way. Now the top of the tower, as we have it here, is the equivalent to being 4 tracks off the ground, and this little piece of track here can actually be moved down to 3, 2 or 1 track off the ground, and there's corresponding numbers on the side here that tell you on that, but we'll come back to that a little bit later on. Additionally, at the top of the tower we have this helipad, allowing the included green helicopter to land. The helicopter top blades spin, and the front opens, allowing for the driver to get in. There's also a magnet underneath, which allows it to swoop in and pick up cargo like so. Next, as we move down from the tower, we go down this ascending straight, which brings us to one of the first 3 mountain sections. Now this mountain is set 3 tracks off the ground and is made by combining one of the larger mountain sections with one of the smaller mountain sections. Now included in the 36010 set are 2 of the large mountain sections, 1, 2, and 2 of the smaller sections, 3 and 4. Now these can be combined as we have it here, or used individually to create different heights of the track. On top of this taller mountain section is the first of 3 included cranes. The crane part itself isn't new and has been used in many other cargo sets. It can turn through 360 degrees and can be raised up and down using this little handle here. There's a magnet on the end which allows it to pick up cargo and place it round here in the cargo area. The green plateau that this crane is fitted to nicely fits on top of the mountain and is secured in place via these little hooks that are on the sides. The length of the track is the equivalent of a long length of wooden track, or a D length as it's known, and the back has a loading area here for the cargo to be stored. Plus we've got a nice sign and number. These yellow barriers on the section can be lowered to hold the train in place and then raised when it's time for it to get underway. Now the nice thing with this section piece is that it can be used with any of the mountain sections, or it can be used on its own flat on the table. There's also a way to elevate it without using the mountains, which we'll show you at the end of the video. Pulling out from this crane, and we head down one of the 3 included ascending curves. Now I love these track pieces. They're the same curve as 2 of the larger curved bends, and they ascend exactly 1 track in height, the equivalent of one of the ascending straights. They're also reversible, so it doesn't matter which direction your track is going, and they come as either a left hand or a right hand set, though this set only includes 3 of the right hand versions. Once coming down this curve, we arrive at our second crane, which is made from one of the larger mountain sections. Both of the larger mountain pieces are made from plastic, and they have this grey colour with a sort of sandy coloured detail at the base. The mountains are hollow, which allows for trains and track and vehicles to pass through the mountain base. The crane on top of this mountain is different to the first one in that it has a longer reaching arm on it, and it features a magnet which can be raised and lowered using this wheel at the back. This allows you to pick up cargo from the ground below, and the crane can spin through 360 degrees like so. There's also a space at the top here for one of the figures to sit in and operate the crane. The green plateau is similar to the first one, with the track length being the same and the 2 yellow barriers, but it's orientated the opposite way to the first one, meaning that the crane sits inside the track layout rather than on the outside as the first one does. What that means is that it's not possible to swap the 2 cranes around in this current configuration, as you would have to turn the mountain round to make it work. But this can be easily adapted with some extra track and allow you to customise it however you want. So as we pull out of this crane, we go down another of the ascending curves. You'll notice that these curves are actually supported by these grey girder style supports, along with this red supporting piece on the top. You get 2 of the girder supports included to support the elevated ascending curves, but if you disconnect the girder from the red base, you'll see that these can be used as regular track supports, either 1 track high or 2 tracks high, or you can combine the 2 to support 3 track high line. Onto the third mountain, and this one's a little bit different. As you can see, it's made up of 2 sections. The first is the final smaller mountain section, which, like the others, is grey with the odd gold fleck in it. However, this one attaches to the third crane via those same hooks that the other ones are connected with, like so. By moving the crane to the back of the mountain, we've freed up space on the front here to have this flat area where our T-junction can sit. This does mean that this crane can only be used on the ground and cannot be elevated like the other cranes can. Likewise, if you don't use it with the small mountain section in front, there is this small gap in front of it, which would be seen unless there's a track elevated. It also, the crane cannot reach down further to the ground level to pick any cargo up, so best to be used in conjunction with this mountain section. Talking of operation, the crane is operated by bending down here to pick up the cargo block. It then pulls back up, drops the block off and locks into place. You press this red circle at the end here, which then sends the bricks down the chute, ready to be collected by the truck. Equally, you can also have the helicopter come and collect the bricks as well, or if you're going to combine this with other sets, you could have a secondary crane positioned here to pick the cargo up from here and load it onto a vehicle adjacent to the track. Coming back to this track piece, now while this may look like a regular T-junction, this is in fact the first T-junction that BRIO have made for train track that features 2 pegs. Now this makes this a unique item to the set, and it even comes with a painted yellow and black hazard line on it as well. The track isn't just freely sitting on this plateau though, it's actually held in place by these small little hooks in situ. And having spotted these on this one, we actually can see them on the other mountain sections as well, allowing other wooden track sections to be located and secures the crane sections in place too. Now from here we've got a decision. We can either continue straight and go down the third ascending curve, or we can come round and down the ascending wooden supports, both of which connect together via this loop, which is useful for turning trains around. And from there we can either go straight down through the tunnel and off to the end there, which in this layout is ended with a buffer, but that leaves a perfect open end to connect onto additional track. Alternatively, your trains can use this switch here and come around to the base of the elevator and start the process all over again.
But I think the idea here is that the cargo wagon, albeit it's got obviously magnets front and back so it can push them as well as pull them, would bring the wagons round, lift it up. They would then, as we've seen, come right round, and then I think the idea is that this would be sort of waiting to collect them and either push them or bring them back. So I think that's the sort of purpose of that. So obviously this one does go round as well and connects in. Equally, the truck that's included also goes round. Doesn't have quite as much momentum. I think the wheels being slightly different on this one in comparison to the sort of more train wheels. Slows it down a little bit. So it's always getting a bit more stuck on that one, but that's okay.
So that's a quick overview of this set. Now let's look at the 5 things we love and the one thing we wished was a little better. First up, we love all of the green details that come in this set. From the green cargo train to the truck, where the cab opens up at the back and the front opens up to reveal the engine. You also get the new green helicopter, plus you get 2 figures in their green outfits which can fit inside the train, inside the helicopter, on operating the crane, or at the top here to control the elevator lift. Talking of what's included, I'm also a big fan of the 3 wooden gold cargo blocks. While BRIO does also include one of the gold rock style bricks, it does get stuck when it goes down the chute sometimes, and equally is not the easiest to pick up and deposit on the third crane over here. So I'm glad to see these wooden blocks have been included as well. They even have a nice shimmering gold effect paint on the blockers too, as well as the AU-79 atomic symbol, and a nice piece that's exclusive, at least at the moment, to this set. Now next up is something that we discovered about this set which we really like, and that's that the crane sections actually can be elevated on their own. Having done some testing with various different BRIO supports, the monorail style supports are the best ones for elevating the crane off the ground and holding it securely without using one of the mounting sections. Great design or a happy accident? We'll let you decide on that. Now, for those of you who have watched our channel for a while, you'll know how much we love these ascending curves. So to get 3 of these included is a great way to keep the overall size of the layout down, while at the same time giving you track pieces that come in super handy for future track layouts. Like the next 2 layouts that are coming to the channel. Subscribe to be notified. The one thing that we like least about this set is just the amount of space that the mountain sections take up on the shelf when it's not in use.
I haven't really considered where we're going to store all of these things yet. They certainly don't stack on top of each other that nicely. So yeah.
It's good that the smaller sections actually can fit inside the top sections, but it would have been great if they could have stacked a bit more neatly to take up less space when not in use. That said, the mountains are, in our opinion, the best part of this set. I love how easy it is for our kids in particular to be able to stack them together and secure the cranes in place thanks to those hooks. Adding the tunnel element underneath is a fun addition and not only allows for future expansion, but also better utilises the space that these mountains consume when you're using a train table and you're limited for space. I also really like how the crane sections can be swapped around and used on both the tall and the short sections, or combined all together. Plus, I suspect that the red crane from the 36025 rescue set will also be compatible with these mountains. I wonder if we'll see any more of this track element used in future sets. There is one other plus point for this set, but it's something specific to us. Now, long-time viewers of the channel will note that while we own the lift and load warehouse set, which has a tower similar to this in it, we've never actually featured it on the channel beyond showing the tower hiding under our table here in our BRIO room updates. Why is that? Well, we bought the set second-hand from a reseller, and unfortunately when it arrived, this little track piece here was missing from the package. Now, without this little piece, it's actually not possible to build the rest of the lift and load warehouse set. So thankfully, this piece can actually be removed from this tower, and because the other tower is basically the same, fitted into that one, which means that we can finally review the lift and load warehouse set that we've had for the past 18 months. Now, a question we were asked is how it compares against other similar sets, and looking at the range, I'd say the 33097 Cargo Railway Deluxe set is probably the closest sort of set to this mountain set. Both the sets contain 3 cranes, 2 of which are fundamentally the same crane, albeit in slightly different packaging. The Cargo Railway Deluxe set is more compact and takes up less space when built, and also when it isn't built, because it packs back down into the green box that it comes with. That said, the Cargo Mountain set has all of the elevation, it's got the stackable mountains, it's got the interchangeable cranes, the elevator, the ascending curves. So while I do love the amount of track that you get with the 33097 set, I think that there's more play possibilities with this, the 36010 Cargo Mountain set. Now, as far as BRIO say, both sets are available for children aged 3+, but I think that this set is probably more suited for slightly older children, maybe 4 or 5-year-olds, just because of the extra complexity of adding the height, stacking the curves. If you've got kids and you've done elevated tracks before, you'll know that they're notorious for knocking the tracks over. So a 3-year-old with a set like this, it might get a bit frustrating for them. So we found our oldest son really enjoys playing with this set and building it all himself. One last thing to note that we alluded to earlier is that the tower section can be changed so that the track connection can be set at different heights. The small piece of track that we was talking about earlier, it pulls forward and slots down and then locks back into place, allowing you to create your own lower layouts. This elevator is actually a really good way of getting a train from the ground level to 4 tracks high in a really small amount of space. So for us in future big track layouts where we like to go high, something like this is going to work really well for those track builds. So the BRIO 36010 Cargo Mountain set is packed with features that make it a fantastic addition to any BRIO collection, whether you build it as intended or build it in your own way to make something unique utilising your other tracks and trains that you already have. If you're new to BRIO or a long-time fan, this set is sure to provide hours of fun and imaginative play, which leads us to the big question. Does the 36010 Cargo Mountain set dethrone the 33052 Deluxe set as our new favourite set? On screen now is a video that we made last year on our top 5 BRIO train sets, and in it we mentioned that this set could be a strong contender for the top spot next year. I guess we'll have to wait and see until we redo that video this year to find out. So subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We post weekly track builds, set reviews and other BRIO related content, so if you love trains or you have a little one that does, I'm confident that you'll find our channel useful. That's it, thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next one.